Greetings everyone. Today I would like to make a very long video on basics of Mongolian mythology. I want to collect everything I told you and connect the dots and to present the what happened according to Mongolian language and mythology. I did not make these videos for a long time. Because of that, I may be a little bit slow in my talking, and my this usual skills may be gone a little bit down, because I'm not using English in my daily life. So how all this this world started, so something like that. Mythology and gods is all like that. So in the very beginning, there was some kind of this darkness, or someone is born, and this creature stayed in one place. It did not travel, and he became one with the darkness, and this being grew mad, and it discovered madness and fear. The first thing that was born was a fear. I'm sorry. So his name can be simply Ai. So when he was sleeping, he heard this great noise. There was a noise like hitting something, and he saw a dude. Another dude was born. This dude was Time. Time did not stay in one place. He did not blend with the darkness. He was searching, he was moving, and he needed an energy. Time discovered movement and food. Food can be like energy. You need to find an energy source in order to move around. But this dude, Time, had another tool in his disposal. He had a third eye. He could see what this fear cannot see. He scanned his area and saw fear, but he had no interest in madness and fear. He scanned down, and he discovered that there was a world in down. Worlds. We don't know how many worlds there were. These two were in one world, and there was this separate worlds. So this guy, small detail, this guy was horny, or bony. how you say in English. So he was horny. So he sensed that something was calling him in the very bottom of this. I mean, he traveled down. And when he reached the first realm, he scanned everything, and there was the thing he was looking for. And he went down, and he went down, and finally he reached this bottom where there was a goddess. Kara, oh my. The dark, I wonder if you can see the camera, the dark vagina. He found that this dark vagina was so beautiful and so desirable, and she also found this guy to be so beautiful and so desirable, and together they have discovered sex and fertility. They discovered sex and fertility. So she gave birth to many daughters. It was like an ant hill. There's so many, these females in this bottom realm. Obviously, the death, or let me write his name, Erlik Khan, the great Lord Erlik Khan wasn't interested having a son, because his son is going to steal his secret of sex and fertility, and maybe create like own, this separate, this place, something like that. So he did not have any sons, but he had many loyal daughters. So these daughters are like their father. The father is also a god of movement and food, meaning he is Mr. Hunter. So these goddesses were all goddesses of hunt. They were savage beings that sharpened their teeth and nails. Not the teeth, the feet. So, so they traveled up and captured any, these mysterious beings, if exist in these other realms, and they brought them down, and they slowly consumed them. This dude had the power to consume everything, because time even consumes the matter or stones, and in time even stones break down. So they consumed everything. So this went for a long time, until a goddess was born called Zol. She was a goddess of kindness. So a new form of power, kindness, is born. But this kindness is not the kindness we know. She is interested in saving not everyone. She is interested in saving the young ones and elderly ones. The rest, she is like destroys, something like that. For example, there was a this communist revolution here in Mongolia, and I would like to tell you how my grandfather survived this chaos. My grandfather was in a monastery, and he had this duty of looking after the garden, and he did his job in a crappy way. I mean, he was the one who was ruining the gardens or ruining the temple roof. The temples had this Chinese type of building, and there was this roof guardians, pottery figurines. It's a tradition, Chinese tradition, and he was practicing his sling using ability, and he was breaking those potteries. And one day, the master of the temple created some kind of these spells and these rituals in order to chase away this demon who is ruining their temple roof. So he did some spells and had a bow and arrow, and he shoot the temple top with an arrow, and arrow was stuck there. And he said, if someone grabs this this arrow, or this arrow is going to stabilize our rooftop, something like that. But my grandfather climbed up and took the arrow, and the headmaster knew that my grandfather was responsible for ruining the roof. So he was chased from the temple, and since he wasn't this monk boy, Lama boy, he was saved from this communist slaughter. I mean, this is the slaughtering area. Young one is spared after this conflict. Imagine a tribal conflict. Everyone is killing everyone, but after the war, there's some kids and women are left, elderly left. I mean, weak, elderly, and rest. The strong ones are cut down. This is the way of the kindness in a somewhat this old way. So she decided to save these small ones in this releasing them back, and she found a old blind dude who was Odun. I mean, the Odin was a blind, paranoid dude who was kept in their time and space prison. I mean, Kara Oma is a goddess of space. So the space and time is our prison. You cannot stop the time. That's why you have to die. Yeah. So together, they escaped this hell realm. So they went as far as it's possible and ended up living in the very top. And she noticed that the dude was very lucky. So Mr. Odin is a god of odds. He is good luck, good fortune. He is so lucky that he found her, and she is so lucky that she found her. And female word for a good luck is Zol. So there can be so many names like Sorry, I need to write everything. So there can be like names Zolbo, Zolzaya, Zolbayar, Zol, Zol Tzatzar, something like that. All these names represent the goddess of kindness. Kindness is Notice that her mother is also a goddess of beauty, but she is the good beauty. She's not the kindness we know. She tends to be right. She can have this bad and evil decisions, but in the end, that was the good decision or right decision. And she is a hunter. She is goddess of sex and fertility, and she's the one which any lucky man wants. And she is the goddess of eternal marriage. Eternal marriage. There can be this all kinds of thing in life. You meet a lot of girls, but only one girl seems to be your soul, your eternal marriage, eternal love, the one you spent this experience, the one with whom you are going to face the Mr. Ad, the death and time together, something like that. So she's so very important in our subconsciousness. That's why we use all kinds of this Zol name. Yeah. So together, these two, this had many, these sons. So we are reaching the point where there is a gender war. There is the females at the bottom and the males on top. Since Ilk Khan is bony guy or insecure, poor in nature, the goddess Kara Oma usually give birth to daughters. Since goddess Zol knows that the Odun Khan, or god of good luck, can provide everything she needs, she gives birth to many sons. Of course, there's a few beautiful these daughters, but mainly she gives birth to sons. That's why a woman that gives birth to many sons is Zol. She is what you desire. So something like that. So there was a conflict or war going on, and still this sex and fertility was a secret. Yes, secret. And somewhere, someday a dude was born, and it was named Ochar, the meaning. He had a powerful tool in his disposal. It was a Thunderbolt. A god of Thunderbolt, the god of reason, is born from the two twin gods of good luck, female good luck and male good luck. So Ochar went campaigning down because of pressures of his father to destroy Mr. Ilk Khan here. So he invaded the first realm, second realm, and etc. And he turned everyone into a dust called he sand and gas. He turned every opposition or the hill goddesses into, like, you know, this empty dust. So his brothers were like was shocked by this cruelty, and they did say, you know, this there's still the young ones and the elderly ones, and there's so many beautiful females, and why we cannot, like, take them, like, bring home and something like that. He said that you guys think that these females are, like, useful for you, but they think that you guys are useless. And I also feel, you know, there's something unholy about this, you know, this woman, and we must push on. We have orders from our father to vanquish Mr. Death. So he went, you know, just traveled back and back. But the devil, the madness and fear, was so fast in his travel that he warned that there's some kind of evil dude with a Thunderbolt is coming to get them. So everyone hid themselves, and Ilk Khan had to face this Mr. Lord of the Lightning. However, he, together with his wife, managed to capture Mr. Lord of Lightning in his time and space trap, and he ordered to keep it to his guard him to his daughters. Daughters didn't like, you know, this duty and job, and they gave it to the one who is the most, like, stupid, the goddess called Hal. Hal is like a hell. She is a goddess of suffering, and she kept him in a cage and tortured. While she was torturing him, she felt like this, what the BDSM couples feel. I mean, she felt love doing this, and like, yeah, you want this, that, you, yeah. So something like that. So she managed to you know, this steal or take Od-bayar's Thunderbolt, and she became a giant, or savior of underworld. The goddess of suffering became a savior of underworld. However, Od-bayar also was declared as a Avarga, Avarga of upper realm, because he had a Thunderbolt. So these two giants like became like champions of upper and lower realms, and they fell in love. There was a reason why Mr. Od-bayar was also a god of suffering. He made, you know, this everyone into a dust. He made things suffer, and he also became a greater death. He killed gods because he thought these gods had no meaning. If any god or goddess is worshipped, and when they lose their meaning, or when they lose their worshippers, they turn into a dust, meaning the god of meaning destroys them, something like that. So also Mr. Od-bayar had third eye. This third eye made everyone around him uncomfortable, because he not only was looking similar to the Irlik Khan, he could know the powers of his mother, the goddess kindness, and father of good luck. And he also knew the powers of time and powers of Karauma in time, and he became king of the gods. So since when these two, this became in somewhat, this marriage, or this in love sex relationship, they decided to create a new world where there can be everything. So it was suggested by the goddess of Hal that you have created all this dust. All this dust is kind of useless. My father even tried to consume this dust, and he doesn't like the taste, or he cannot even consume this dust. This dust is like meaningless. You're like ruining everything, like me, something like that. So this god of lightning collected all the dust and gave them this meaning, and this dust started to unite with each other because they have the meaning to get united, and they started to form stones and this all kinds of this matter, gold, whatever elements, and our world was created. And there was a big role of fear, this doing his job. He is the one against the 99, something like that. So since this Hal is word for a suffering, our nation is called Halcha, or the suffering ending, or something like that. And when this Zol is popular, but Hal, the girl named Hal, is not popular. Maybe there can be like Hal Tarma, Halterma. It can be like dirty woman, something like that. Or there can be like Halion, from Hal, or a deer, something like that. So this is the basics of Mongolian mythology. Who created this everything? Obviously the lightning. It's like Zeus, the god of gods, created the world. What else? I guess that Zeus is the most popular one. So well, that's like this pretty much for today. Now you know all these these things that I this was trying to tell in my past videos, and I needed to this study more on this what we say, what we feel, and why we are having these names. Like men like to have name with Od, like Od-bayar, Od. Shit. It's like there's a lot of name like with Od, like it is because of this god Odun, and there's a lot of many Zol, because there's this goddess Zol, and etc. Must say this Irlik Khan is less popular. Even he is the one who claims to be the starter of everything. The time started everything. Well, that's pretty much for today, and I hope you are still interested in my talks.